love the names on this team. They have Sixto Sanchez, and they have my favorite name probably in baseball right now, Jazz Chisholm.
Showing emotion in baseball is terrible and should never be in the game.
It's weird how the dynamic works between sports.
But to win a championship, not only do you need great players on the court, but you need good chemistry, which takes time to develop.
Justin Fields is a all-time talent.
Corey Perry will give some veteran presence to the Canadians.
I feel like Luka will take that next step, and if he can get a three ball consistently around 35%, I feel like they could become a contender.
We can make jokes about you not being in the Super Bowl for 20-something years, but...
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Goldman from the Goalie Guild and Lift the Mask, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. We've already talked, the NLCS already started last night, and the ALCS is tonight. The ALCS finished last night or yesterday as well. NL has not gone according to plan at all. I think you can just throw out everything, and we'll talk about that. But the AL has gone with what many predicted. So just a reminder is the Phillies are up 1-0 against the Padres in a game of 7, or in a series of 7. And then the Astros will host the Yankees tonight as we're recording then. Austin, I think it's an incredible way to start the playoffs. I was unsure about the new playoff format, and I love it. I think it's great. I think the people complaining about it are like, I just don't get it. Like, the Braves had a chance to win the series. Same thing with the Dodgers. They didn't play. They lost. To me, complaining about, it's a new playoff format. Well, you still could have won. So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Do I like the new playoff format? Still no. And here's the reason. The regular season has to matter. And this is my issue in the NBA and somewhat the NFL. Teams that make the playoffs, for example, NFL, this happened not too recently, just in 2020. A team below 500 deserves to make it. You're going to MLB, a team that wins 87 games deserves to make it. Any team can beat any team. Any team can get hot at the end of the season. But it's whether or not they deserve to make the playoffs. If their season was actually good enough to make the playoffs. And I don't think any team under 90 wins should be allowed. While that's a harsh thing to say, and Phillies fans obviously disagree with me, but you have to earn it. And I feel like at some point, we're going to get to the point where 8 teams make the MLB playoffs. And if you looked at the 8 teams, there would have been multiple teams on both sides that were under 500. Or at least really, really close. And if you're not winning 50% of your games, you don't deserve to make it. I don't care if you win. The only difference, the only league where it's okay, and there's not teams below 500 ever that make it, but there's teams that don't have the best record. And that's the NHL, because the NHL actually has parity. There's not normally, unless it was Tampa that one year, an absolutely dominant 1 seed. A 1 seed like the Astros or a 1 seed like the Dodgers that are 22 games up in their division from the Padres. Baseball, you see those dominant teams. There is no, if, for example, the Pirates had made the playoffs, would that be fair? No. Obviously, that's an extreme example. And I understand your point. It is very interesting. Kyle Schwarber hit that ball last night, probably 800 feet. I know it went 48. I'm just saying the way it sounded, excluding a home run derby, that is the loudest I've ever heard a ball. The loudest I've ever heard a ball was Aaron Judge in the home run derby when he hit 505 or 510 or whatever, however far that one went in Miami. Because that was almost sea level, just like the Padres. Both are basically sea level. Both of those balls almost go 550 in Coors. 550. But still, at some point, like, where do you draw the line? This is something I would be intrigued in. Maybe it's not top 6. We say if you win 90 games, you make the playoffs. And every team that wins 90 games make the playoffs. And you can then break up how it's going to work after that. Because I'm telling you, like the NFL, do you deserve to make the playoffs if you're under 500? Even if you win your division? I would say no. I don't think that's right. For a team to even have the chance of losing to a team that's under 500, especially in the NFL, where you only have to win one game, and any team in the NFL can win one game. Any team. It's not fair to the opponent. I know, yeah, they could have won the game. They shouldn't have even been allowed to compete. It takes away. Why does the regular season even matter? Why don't we just start with the playoffs and have 7-game series with every team in it, so that every team makes the playoffs? If that's not the case, you can't have teams that have a better. I know this is explicitly only the NFL I'm talking about right this second. You can't have a team with a better record than a team that's in the playoffs miss the playoffs. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know that didn't happen this year in the MLB. Well, the point remains that I don't believe a team under 90 wins deserves to make the playoffs. Your thoughts on everything I just said?
So I'm just gonna stick to the MLB because I have a question for you after I answer. So I was like, we'll see. They'll probably just get blown out. Well, they didn't. They made it to the NLCS, and I think the two teams that we're talking about are the Phillies and Padres. What did the Phillies and Padres do at the trade deadline? To me, they were milling around the trade deadline. They're like, oh, they were a mediocre team. I believe what those.
But even at even at the end of the season, the Phillies were trying to lose it, actively attempting to lose a playoff spot.
Well, I want to talk about the trade deadline. They could have sold off pieces, but they didn't. They went all in. Padres got Juan Soto, Josh Hader. Great moves that are paying off in the postseason. What did the Phillies do? Traded for Noah Syndergaard and Brandon Marsh. Noah Syndergaard did okay. Brandon Marsh made plays in the postseason. My thing is, there are teams tanking, like the Pirates. They just don't care about the season. What will happen now that the season has been expanded? Maybe there will just be better teams, and maybe there becomes parity. Or do you think parity is a thing that
here's the issue? What about a team like the Marlins? Did the Marlins make any big trade all year? No. Did they sell all their good players? Did they trade Sandy? Did they trade all these other good pitchers they have? Pablo Lopez, good players like Jazz Chisholm. No, they weren't tanking. And you can't talk about a Brandon Marsh trade like that was the trade. Like, oh, they're not tanking because they traded for Brandon Marsh. I understand he's playing outstanding in the playoffs, but you can't look at what he did for the Angels before they made the trade is my point. You can't look at that trade and be like, they're not tanking. He wasn't projected to be a good player this year with the Phillies because of how he performed with the Angels. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I would push against it because those players, like, they made it to, like, they needed a defensive center fielder. To me, at that time, was what Brandon Marsh is. And they're like, hopefully he gets better at hitting. And now he's starting to hit well this year. So that's how I'm going to push back, but you can continue.
I mean, they could have traded for Harrison Bader, like the Yankees did. That's a defensive center fielder that we hoped would start hitting well. And of course he did. He was a major reason why we beat Cleveland. Without him, we definitely lose to Cleveland. He was probably our best hitter in this series, which is crazy to say. But it's just not. Brandon Marsh is a good player. And even before this series, these playoffs where he's been hitting out of his mind, but it's a small sample size. But still, yes, he's playing outstanding. But where do you draw the line? What team deserves to make it? If at one point, let's just say this, a division goes rogue, and the top seed is 80 and 82, 81 and 81, does that team deserve to make the playoffs?
If they win their division.
I don't believe that. I'm not the type of person to say, oh, if you get a playoff spot, you necessarily deserve it. Like Washington, I don't think they deserved it in 2020. They went 7-9. If you go back to 2011, the Seattle Seahawks made it at, or 2010, the Seattle Seahawks made it at 7-9 and won a playoff game over the Super Bowl defending champs, or the Saints. It beat them. And you're like, oh well, the Saints should have won the game. Did the Seahawks deserve to be there? No. I understand you have to beat the team in front of you, but sometimes a team is hot, but they didn't deserve to make it. In that case, again, my point, the NHL, right, had a 24-team playoff in 2020. And both 12 seeds won. The Blackhawks, the Canadiens. Did those teams deserve? No, they didn't. I understand it's a different circumstance there because they were only including teams that were not already kicked out of the playoffs so that they could make it. But my point is, if you did that anyways, if you said no matter what, 82-game season, top 12 in each conference make it, is that fair? At what point is it not fair to you? Or does it not matter? Should we not play the regular season? Because from your take, and there's a lot of people that support it. A lot of people support it. What you're saying. You're not alone on this.
Yeah.
Does the regular season matter? Because here's my thing. Here's my take. If I have injury-prone players that I may be concerned, like Kawhi, and this is a big reason why now 10 teams, I would say Kawhi should play 42 games, 41 games all year. There's no reason to risk Kawhi. They were already in the plan without Kawhi. Just make sure Kawhi is healthy for playoffs, and then we're good. Like, regular season does not matter in the NBA. 10 teams make the playoffs now. I know it's not technically the playoffs, but it is. It just doesn't matter. I would not care about the regular season, and that's why everyone's mad. Oh, why are they sitting Kawhi versus the Heat? Remember when the Spurs and the Heat played, and I'm pretty sure they sat Kawhi, or there's a lot of people sitting in a Warriors-Cavs game or something. There was a big game between two really good teams, and they basically sat everyone, and it was just the reserves playing. I would do that almost every time. Play Kawhi against the bad teams, guarantee a win. Against the good teams, playoffs don't matter. We don't even have to be a top half team in our conference. They don't matter.
Okay, I want to mostly focus on MLB because to me there's different league dynamics.
Even in MLB, there's guys that are consistently hurt, like Stanton.
Okay,
that I would just be like, hey, play when you can and never push it. If you ever have a slight tweak, oh, you stubbed your toe, don't play. We're all good. This series, if we lose, we're fine. We can go 87. We can win 87 games and still make the playoffs. Don't worry about it. We're good.
I'm going to say you could do that, but if it doesn't pay off, I would go, well, look at what you sat the dude. And you're like, well, wait till the playoff happens. To me, it's if you're at half, and I don't think MLB's at half because it's 12 teams and there's
30.
I think this is you're on the line of like, okay, you're maybe too many. And we'll just have to see how it goes on recently.
I need you to answer the question I asked initially. What is unfair? What point is it like, that's not right?
Half or more than half.
So you would say that every other league is unfair? I mean, not the NFL's 14, so I guess not. But you would say the NBA is.
I would say the NBA is too much, especially with the play-in.
To where if a 10 seed eventually beats a 1 seed, you say that's unfair?
Well, to me, it's just, I don't see it happening.
That didn't answer my question. A 10 seed beats a 1 seed. Is that unfair?
Well, I'm not going to say it's unfair because it's
why
like,
is
those were the rules. Those are the rules. Like, it's not, to me, that's not unfair.
Here's my point with asking that. Let's say, again, going to the NBA example, I sit basically everybody the entire season. I don't care about the regular season. So I'm just going to sit everybody, and then I'm going to have a God squad come playoff time that are just all fully healthy, all well rested. And I just destroy everyone in my path. Is that fair for a 1 seed to face a 10 seed that's actually supposed to be a 2 seed? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I don't
Kawhi and
think
Paul George.
that's
Listen, I get to 40 wins, and then I decide, Kawhi, Paul George, you're not playing the rest of the season. We made the playoffs. We're guaranteed a 10 seed. Let's just not play anymore. And then I just roll through the playoffs. Is that fair?
if that's the rules, yes.
So there is no limit to what you think is fair.
Well, it's in the rules. Like, to me, unfair is cheating in the rules. That's just not my definition of fair. Like, unfair. Like,
So if the rules are 15 teams make the playoffs and a 1 beats a 15 seed, that's fair? I mean, a 15 seed beat a 1.
in the rules, yes. And in the team, like, I'm not going to blame a 15 seed for doing that.
I'm saying,
like,
are the
whatever.
rules fair? Is what I'm asking.
Rules fair? No. But what a team does, as
Then
long as
it
you're
is
following
not
the rules,
fair to the team because the rules are not fair.
I disagree. Like, I just don't see it that way.
So you can say the rule is fair, but the team not beating the team because of the rule is fair?
Well, that's just the cards you're given, and you got to do with what the cards are given. Now, if we want to go to your scenario, I don't think you would demolish teams, in my opinion.
Why?
Has that team played together enough time to understand each other's strengths and weaknesses? To me,
If we're referring to the NBA, it doesn't matter. If my team's really that good, like having Kawhi and Paul George, like I said, Kawhi and Paul George by themselves, if they're playing at their absolute peak, could win the series by themselves. They're that good on offense and defense to where they would be that dominating.
If they're playing at their peak. To me,
Kawhi's
you can't
entire
go 0 to 60, in my opinion.
Kawhi's done that his entire career. During the Toronto championship, before the playoffs, he was sat out a lot.
I don't want to focus too much on the NBA because we're in the MLB episode.
What do you think a pinch hitter does every day? Not play. And then you have really good pinch hitters that come in and hit bombs and bombs and bombs. And then they sit out for about 20 or 30 games. And then they come in.
Do they not do any hitting in the day? No hitting.
I'm not saying not to practice.
Well,
there's a difference between practicing and standing still and hitting stuff than going through a game. It's like a pitcher. You can throw 30 pitches in the bullpen. I just don't want you playing in a game to where you can get hit with a line drive right back.
For me, there's something in the game of what you learn. Throughout that series, how you build camaraderie, how you build chemistry, how you build momentum.
In baseball, besides face-to-face chemistry and a little bit of defensive chemistry does not exist. You could have 9 of the most they have zero chemistry. None. I could pick up one player from each team, but that team would win probably 160 games because I would have all these great hitters that would literally outscore the other team every single game. Chemistry doesn't matter in baseball unless
I would disagree. Well, chemistry. I'm talking
about.
Room. That's why I also think, like, how do you get along?
Was Ohtani happy this year?
Probably not.
No, he's even said that he wasn't. He said, I have a pretty negative opinion on this season. He also had one of the greatest seasons in MLB history. I don't think chemistry affects play in baseball because you're by yourself. You're the one making the play. Unlike every other sport where I have to make a perfect pass to a shooter sometimes because he's in a rut. He cannot make a shot. So I need to pass it perfectly to his right where his hands are. And so he can go up nicely. I also have to comment to him on defense. Hey, I got your back. Your guy gets by you. I got him. It's not your fault. In baseball, where is that chemistry hitting? There isn't.
Can I give an example of where I think chemistry affects?
Sure.
So last year, Tatis, there was something going on with the Padres. And you still have, Tatis is gone for right now. To me, there's a line in the locker room like, hey, I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. And then you have to choose sides and you're divided. Padres didn't make the playoffs last year. They had trouble with Tatis, but Tatis is not in the clubhouse right now. And to me, the Padres have gathered together and they're going on a great run right now. They've finally found a way to put it together and they're working at the right time. So that's my idea of like, while Ohtani had a great season, Angels did not have a good season.
Here's something I'd combat that. They weren't that much better this year. They won 10 more games. That could just be the difference from guys they picked up named Juan Soto. Like, I don't know how you can prove that it was Tatis as the difference. When you add Josh Bell and Soto, two good players, and you win 10 more games, they also added Hader, obviously. They only won 10. It's not like they won 50. It's not like they went from 79 to like 110. And then I'd be like, you know what? Tatis was the problem. But they won 10 games. And they picked up guys to win those 10 games. They were out of the playoffs when they picked up Soto. Or at least very close to out of them. And he almost fell out this time.
But then they had a chance to clinch the series last year, correct? And to get into the playoffs?
No, they were 79. They were 79 and 83. They would not have made the playoffs no matter what.
Didn't they have a bad stretch or no?
They probably had a bad stretch. Every team has a bad stretch.
I remember near the end, there was a bad stretch, and that's when you had Tatis and Machado fighting each other.
Yes, they did lose a good bit of games at the end of the season, but my point again is the fact that they only won 10 more games. And at the end of this season, it's not like they were playing world beater baseball.
But they found a way to get in, is what I'm thinking.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. There are probably 2 or 3 teams all time who's ever played baseball in a full season who've made the playoffs with 89 wins. As a 5 seed. I'm going back to the old wildcard system. I can name the Padres again did it once, I think, in like 2005. And then I think the White Sox or somebody did it as well. Or maybe Cleveland. Won 89 games. So my point is, parity in the NL this year, historically bad. Historically. A team as a 5 seed being 89 wins, that's like a 5 seed in basketball winning like 42. To where they're barely above 500. Is it one of the worst 5 seed records? I'm just talking about records. Ever. Okay. So to say that Tatis was the reason they found a way to make it. No, everyone around them was losing. Everyone. To the Dodgers. Every single team was losing to the Dodgers. Whatever team had least games against the Dodgers survived.
Okay. My question is, so you talk about parity in the NHL. Mm-hmm. And I want to get stuck on the NHL. Do you think parity can become a thing? Or no?
In baseball?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Because the owners in baseball like to make money. And what I mean by that is, you have a Cleveland team. Everyone's talking about, the Yankees have so much more money than Cleveland. Cleveland has sold all of their good players in the last 5 years. All of them, besides Jose Ramirez. That is literally the only guy. The reason why the Yankees have 3 times their salary is because all their guys are on rookie contracts. All of them. Literally all of them. They didn't bring back Francisco Lindor. They traded him for Ahmad Rosario and Andres Gimenez, which the trade worked out, yes. Did they keep Corey Kluber long term, even after he won a Cy Young? No.
But that's a very good trade for Cleveland when they sold out on Corey Kluber.
Yes, it eventually got him Emmanuel Clause. Yes, I understand that. But you can't look at that and say, we're going to trade our ace for the past 8 years. Teams don't normally do that. Just trade their ace for a guy that's unproven. Obviously, Clause worked out, but he was even out all of 2020.
Was the only last good season from Kluber the Yankees season?
He was fine last year with the Yankees. Yeah, he wasn't bad. And he wasn't he had bad games with the Rays. He didn't have a bad season. Corey Kluber either was amazing or horrendously terrible, and there was no in between. But he would have been better than Savali, is my point. Their 4 and 5 starters with the Guardians are not good. They have 3 top guys. And even Cal Quantrill is like, he's good. but and their fifth starter, I don't even know who he is, but he didn't even see the field during the series. So, and they also didn't, like I said, they didn't bring back multiple other guys from that playoff team that were a big reason why they got so far. They don't want to sign guys, is my point. But when you don't want to sign guys, there's no way at some point you're going to falter to a team that has so many good players. So I don't think every team can contend unless they have one of the best farm systems in the league, which the Guardians do, but they don't have enough power hitting. There were so many innings where they had 3 hits and gotten 0 runs in that inning because they just how it worked out.
Okay.
The reason why the NHL can continue, I'm not saying bring a salary cap, but I'm at least saying bring a salary minimum because there's no way Baltimore, for example, there's no way Baltimore with their roster, which is good, yes, but they're playing with so many young guys. They have no older guys besides Cedric Mullins. That is it. Because they trade away Trey Mancini. They don't have many of those guys that you can look to and grow off of. They're growing in the fire with no mentor.
Okay. I see what you're saying. And I think into the parity question, I think parity can happen, and I think the rules that MLB is adding are trying to incentivize parity.
I disagree. I think they're doing the exact opposite.
Yeah. I know we've spent a lot of time on that, so I wanted to express my point. You got your point. I see what you're saying. And then with me, I think we're going to see some teams like the Orioles. Maybe Cleveland spend some money. Not a ton of money, because they just won't spend. But I think maybe they go out and get a player. I think the Orioles spend some money. And maybe get.
What have they done that is? Let me just ask you, what have they done to incentivize parity?
So my thing is the playoff format. I think they changed the money aspect, correct, of arbitration.
Yeah.
They changed that, and then there's also that rule with Rookie of the Year. You get an extra pick.
Isn't it a late pick, though?
But isn't it? It's like first or second round, right?
I don't think it's that high. Maybe it is.
They get a pick.
Okay.
It's not like a seventh or I think it's around.
But how does that incentivize parity? Because a lot of rookies in the league are old, very old. They're not rookie age. For example, Judge, when he won Rookie of the Year, was like 25.
But now I think if you got hitting in AAA and are like, okay, if we can do well with him now, why not bring him up? So I think that's what happened. That's what I'm going to think is going to happen. We can revisit this in 3 years when we've seen everything fully develop. But I want to move into the playoff. I want to talk about Padres, Phillies, and that. And I think we've done that. But now I kind of want to talk about Yankees and Astros. If you're cool with moving on.
Yeah, sure. It's fine. This is the exact opposite of the Padres, Phillies. These are been the 2 best teams in the AL the entire year. No one really even was close. There were some points where the Yankees started to falter and teams got close, but they were up from every other team by at least 7.5 games. So no team was even in striking distance of either of these teams. And while the Yankees still have injuries, Benintendi, their starting left fielder, out. LeMahieu, starting third baseman, probably, because I think Torres stays in, out. Those 2 injuries hurt. DJ during the first half of the season was one of the best players in baseball. I'm going to stick to that belief. He was so good. He was almost back up to hitting 300, and he was playing outstanding. Then he got hurt, and he was playing hurt, and he was not playing well the second half of the year because he was hurt, and that really hurt. And he's not going to be there in this series, and neither is Benintendi. So, but injuries happen, and you just have to wait and see. Your thoughts on the series?
So Yankees, I wasn't sure if they were going to pull it out, but they did. Hitting seemed to prevail. Exposed some weaknesses on the Guardians. But I really felt bad for the Mariners just because of how it was. I think they could have gone farther. It's just they went against the Astros, and the Astros.
They decided to
are
pitch to
the
Jordan.
Astros.
That's why they lost. They decided to pitch to Jordan. They don't pitch to Jordan. I think they win that game. Don't
So
pitch
you
to
think they should have just walked
don't
Jordan?
pitch don't pitch to Jordan. Let me say this: 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. You're up by 2 runs. Bases are already loaded. Let's say that. Jordan's up. I walk Jordan. No one on that lineup scares me like Jordan. Altuve is like for infinity these playoffs. Jordan.
Yeah, he's not. He's
Jordan.
Not
Jordan is the best left hitting player in the league. There's only 2 hitters I would take over him in the league. Those being Judge and Trout.
Judge and Trout. Okay, I was curious who the second one is. I'm pulling up. Are you a fan of F War?
I prefer B War, which is baseball reference war. But
Baseball reference war. I'm curious because I saw F War of Correa and Pena because Pena had the game clinching hit.
Pena's been amazing. Pena's been out of this world.
Yeah, and this is now the 6th Astros ALCS appearance.
Yeah, in a row. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so I'm pulling up. Maybe your
his B War was 4.8.
Carlos Correa or Jeremy Pena.
Pena.
And then so I'm looking at
Correa was 5.4.
so not about a 1 difference.
0.6.
0.6. Okay. The Astros, I don't know how they've done it. They've found a way to replace good players like Pena replacing Correa, who left. They have Jordan. They've extended Jordan, and then their pitching staff is just great depth. Even though Verlander had a bad game, McCullers came back, but they suffered the whole. They were able to play well without McCullers, who's now back. They didn't pitch Urquidy.
He was up multiple times, but it was only a 3-game series, so they didn't need him.
And then they pitched, Christian Javier filled in the 2-game thing. Correct? Or was that?
Yes. Oh, that was also, I thought Alvarez as well.
Or maybe Alvarez. I couldn't remember. One guy pitched 5 in the second part of the game.
I think. I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah. Which was also a crazy thing in itself that the Mariners and Astros played 2 games. But I didn't watch because I think I was watching something else. Or I couldn't watch it. But
I meant Luis Garcia. I said Luis
Luis
Alvarez.
Garcia. He did?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, he did the 5 or
Yes.
okay. Yeah, to me they have great depth in areas. However, if they're going to win the World Series and even beat the Yankees, you need Altuve to break out of this slump just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are very injured. I mean, Hicks is now hurt, and I don't love Hicks, but Hicks is still not bad. So, and like I said, DJ, who I thought was one of the best players in baseball, Benintendi hit above 300 this season. I was hurt, but injuries happen, and that's what I was talking about when I'm talking about parity. Like, the Yankees every year have a trillion injuries. If we could just sit those guys for games that we know that we know we can win with our backups, I don't know why we wouldn't. But that would take away from the. I would take away from the watching the game, because why go to the game if you're not going to watch Judge or you're not going to watch Stanton?
Yeah, I see your point. I would be interested to see how that worked out for you because I don't think it would work out. But on to this, I'm going to stick with my prediction because I believe my AL is perfect in my predictions.
No.
It's not?
Not
Not games, but winning. Like the teams.
Did you? Yeah, they are. Yeah,
I'd marry
but
my
your
NL.
games aren't. Yeah, your NL's
My
terrible.
games are not, but the teams winning.
Mm-hmm.
because this is the ALCS I predicted.
But that means you have 0 right on the NL.
Yeah, I know my NL one's messed up, but
It's more than messed up. You literally have none right.
yeah, but neither do you, right?
No, I got the Padres winning against the Mets.
Oh
So
yeah, you got the Padres winning. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the NL's messed up, but the AL and my champion is still in the running.
So is mine.
Your
Oh wait, no, my champion's not in. But I definitely. Well, the issue with you, comparative to me, is that if I win, whoever wins this round, I'm pretty sure wins it. Especially if they get the ALCS because of the games wise. Because you're above me, yes, but because you have 0 right on the NL, and I get that extra point. And then in the AL, you just have the Seattle, so we're back to even, and then you have Houston making it. But because you're not going to get any points from the NL next, if the Yankees make the World Series, that's +3, and I think I overcome, especially if the ALCS MVP is who I think it will. This series decides if Houston wins. I don't think I have enough of the games, like where I can get the right games left to come back, because that's only half a point. So yeah,
I was just more focused on this is my ALCS. This is my pick. Yankees, Astros. I'm sticking with Astros. So
I'm sticking with the Yankees. I'm a little bit of a homie. I definitely am, but I just here's a stat I want to bring up. It may not matter at all. Who knows? The Astros have not made a World Series in an even year, meaning they went to the ALCS in 2017, made it. ALCS 2018 didn't make it. 2019 made it. 20 didn't make it. 21 made it. 22, we'll see. Also, an interesting stat, every one of those years they played an AL East team. They lost to Boston in 18 and beat them in 21. They lost to the Rays in 20, and they've beaten the Yankees twice. But maybe it's just a year thing, and this would be our year. I don't know. It may not matter. Like I said, it probably doesn't matter. But it is interesting to see that they're having a Tom Brady-esque thing there, where every other year they decide to go to the World Series.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Astros depth-wise, pitching mostly.
How many games do you think it goes?
I think it goes full 7.
Okay. I think I have Yankees in 5, and here's why 5. For the Yankees to win the series, I think they have to win it at home, which means they have to win one of the first 2, and then they win all 3 at home. Because back in 2017, they lost the first 2 games, won the next 3, and lost the last 2. In 19, we won the first game by, I think, 14 or so. I know we won by 7 or something like that, but we won by a touchdown, basically. And I'm like, we're going to the World Series. Because I thought we were so good at home that we could not be defeated there. Obviously, I was wrong. We eventually won 1 game at home. We won the first game, lost second, third, and fourth. Third and fourth at home. Won game 5 at home because of a 3-run Aaron Hicks homer. And then we lost game 6 in a heartbreaking fashion where Altuve doesn't want to take off his shirt because apparently he has a bad tattoo, which is actually a buzzer. But that's no one's ever proven that. It's just, I still find it a little bit suspect that he doesn't want to take off his shirt because his wife would get angry at him. But still.
Yeah. Back to now, I think Yankees have to win game 1 if they want to win the series.
No. We have Tyone. Tyone is our 4th or 5th starter, maybe even 6th starter. Because we have Montes. No, we're pitching Tyone.
Okay.
Against Tyone versus Verlander, dude. If we win this, we're playing this one game is playing with house money. If we can steal this game, it would be massive. But the game we need to win is tomorrow, Thursday, where I believe Severino's going to pitch, and that would be immaculate if we can win that game. That's the game I think we actually have to win.
I'm thinking this one because you're on. So you're playing. You played last night, playing tonight, and then you're playing tomorrow too. Yankees.
Yes. But that matters a lot more for pitching than it does for actually playing.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm worried about with the Yankees. The thing I'm worried about with the Yankees is their pitching.
I'm not worried
Because you
about
do have
Cole.
Garrett.
Cole has proven to be him.
Yeah,
Nestor.
You
Nestor
have
is good. The issue is between Nestor and Cole, we're only going to get 3 starts. We're going to get Cole in game 3 in game 7. And we're going to get Nestor in game 4, probably. Maybe game 5. 4 or 5. But that's only 3 games. If we win our Nestor and Cole games, we lose the series. Actually, you don't. Oh, wait, I just realized. Because the only way to get another Cole start, like I said, 3 and 7, the only way to get another Cole start is to win a game. So we're guaranteed 2 games, probably 3 and 4, where we have our aces. Guys, I think are 2 of the best pitchers in baseball. 2 top 20 starters.
They are great. The thing with the Yankees for me is when you get past those guys. Severino, injury problems.
There's only 2 or there's 3 relievers I actually trust. Right now, Peralta's been amazing. And then Loizica, I think it's coming into his own. And then Holmes. But not having Scott Efros because he got hurt. Aroldis Chapman went AWOL. And we have other injuries. This is going to have to be a team showing, and I think we could do it, but...
Yeah, you can definitely do it. Just my thing with the Yankees is pitching rotation. Like, you do have Cole. You do have Nestor.
Let me say something. The Astros swept, but did they look dominant at any point in that series? I would argue no. They were down 2-1 versus Seattle in Game 2, and then Yordan hits another 2-run homer. I would literally walk Yordan every time that somebody's on base. There's no reason. There's no reason. Unless there's no outs. And then maybe I'd think about pitching to him. But if there's 2 outs, don't risk it. If the next guy hits a homer, Yordan was probably going to hit a homer too. Yordan scares me. Mainly because the Yankees only have 2 lefty pitchers, and only one of them is coming out of the bullpen. We have Nestor, who's not coming out of the bullpen. And then we have Wandy, who's the first pitcher in MLB history to pitch in all 5 games of the division series. So that means he's pitched in every playoff game. I don't know if he's going to be able to pitch in every ALCS game. That would be unheard of.
Yeah. To me, they weren't dominant. Oh my gosh, they're destroying them. It was almost kind of like the inevitableness, I guess. I would almost say Yordan.
It's pitching to Yordan was their problem.
But you're scared of pitching to Yordan because it's inevitable that he demolishes that ball.
Yordan hits 336 versus lefties. Robbie Ray's a starter. What are you doing? They took out their best reliever. Or their second best reliever in Seawald. Who's really good. And they put out a starter. I don't know what to say. Not a decision I would make.
Yeah,
but,
so, or what are we going to add?
Well, just anything can happen in these games, but you got to give yourself the best chance. I don't know if pitching to Yordan there was.
So, yeah, the Yankees could do it. I'm just going to lean Astros on this one. So I assume you're going to be calling Aaron Boone and telling him just walk Yordan.
Not necessarily. Pitch to Yordan if no one's on base. Pitch to Yordan if there's no outs. Unless it's in key situations. Let's say, again, I would walk him with the bases loaded. I'd give him the Bonds treatment. I don't want...
Joe Madden.
Yeah. I don't trust... Here's the thing. It's not really even that Yordan's all that good, even though he is outstanding, one of the best players in baseball. It's more that the rest of the Astros haven't proven anything to me. Besides Pena, who's ahead of him. He's ahead of him. So, walking Yordan, they have Bregman, who's played okay. But they haven't... And you have Gurriel, who's playing okay.
They have... I don't know why Mancini isn't doing DH duties.
It's just weird. I don't trust the rest of their team, is why I would walk Yordan. If I was walking Yordan to face Ohtani, I know that's not possible, but I would not walk Yordan. Or there's no reason. You're not getting Like, yes, is Otani a worse hitter than Yordan? Yes, but Otani is still one of the best hitters in baseball. So there's not much of a gap there. But I don't think the Astros win that series without Yordan. If Yordan was hurt, they lose that series in probably 3 games.
Yeah, I see that. And now Jordan got you through this series. I think he's going to be a contributor here, but now you need other people to step up, like
Let me
Altuve.
put it this way: Yordan. I don't think the Yankees are going to let Yordan beat him. If the Astros win this series, what I'm trying to say is maybe Yordan has a good series, but he will not be the reason. Like, Yordan was the reason. I don't think he's going to be in this series.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a contributor, but my belief is why I'm picking the Astros is they're going to do well in pitching and then hitting. Jordan's going to do great, but they're also going to have good hitters and players from other players like Altuve, Pena. Someone else is going to step up, in my opinion. And then, do you want to talk NLCS? I don't know, maybe Padres, maybe Phillies. I'm going to go Padres. What about you?
I'm going to go Phillies. They're starting pitching between Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler is the best 1-2 punch in baseball by far, not even close. Those two,
especially right now, like they're the only two left.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about any team ever, like in the league currently. There was no one I would pick over those two. And the fact that they could get them 1-2, they could get them 1-2 and then 6-7 or 5-6 or however you want to divvy that up so that they can get the most rest is not fair. Not fair.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why they were always historically terrible, is because their bullpen isn't the best. Still, I don't trust their bullpen. I know Alvarado's played well, and they've had some other guys that are playing okay, but I don't trust their bullpen. So anything Dominguez and Alvarado's as far as I'll go in that bullpen without saying I have no idea anymore. David Robertson as well, but he's not even healthy. So
yeah, that hasn't happened though because Aaron Nola and Wheeler have gone 7 innings, so then you just go 2 guys.
Yeah, then you go the 2 guys I actually trust, and won the game. So, but in the regular season you can't do that because you have 3 other starters you have to play. Yeah. So I think Phillies win in 7. I think they win every Wheeler Nola start and lose every not Wheeler Nola start. But that's all you need. That's all you need. But the issue would come next series because there's no way you go from a game 7 to pitching in game 1 or 2. So I think Nola and Wheeler combined for probably 3 starts in the next series, including a game 7. So they'll probably do the Nestor Cortez, Garrett Cole situation that we're in. And if the Yankees make it before game 7, I think we could start Cole game 1 and start Nestor game 2. And that would be a major problem for the Phillies if there is a 2009 rematch. But if it's the Padres, Darvish is very good. Very, very good. It's just Harper is hot, and he threw a softball pitch to Schwarber, who's playing terrible these playoffs. Like, that was only like his 2nd hit all playoffs, or 3rd hit. But he did hit that ball like 900 feet, so.
Yeah. So, longer than expected episode, but hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Thank you for listening, and make sure to check out all our other videos.